Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. The headlines. Federal government to sustain use of geographic information system to support farmers for enhanced food production. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development meets crop scientists at Ahmadu Bello University. Reforms in seed value chain in focus. Federal High Court nullifies impeachment of former Kogi State Deputy Governor Simon Achuba. And now the news in detail. The National Economic Council has directed the Adamawa, Plateau and Nasarawa state governments to submit their detailed plans of actions for the immediate takeoff of the National Livestock Implementation Plan of the federal government. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir has details. President Muhammadu Buhari has strongly expressed the willingness of the federal government to partner with critical stakeholders towards achieving a transparent and successful second cycle review process of the African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM. This was while receiving an African Union APRM team led by the Chairman, National Governing Council of APRM Nigeria, Senator Abba Ali. Details will come in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged to sustain the deployment of geographic information systems and other similar technologies towards helping farmers achieve increased yield and productivity. President Buhari made this known while exchanging views with a delegation of the Surveyors Council of Nigeria, led by the President of the International Federation of Surveyors, Professor Rudolf Steiger. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The President International Federation of Surveyors, Professor Rudolf Steiger, is in Nigeria to witness the induction of new surveyors into the Register of Surveyors Council and the investiture of the maiden edition of Senator Ahmed Lawan Award for the development of survey and geoinformatics in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari described as pleasing that Nigerian surveyors are recognized and indeed celebrated globally.
Indeed, the city of Abuja, which was conceived in 1976, is an excellent example of the good work delivered by your profession. As you are aware, the city we are seeing today was designed and built through the collaboration of many local and international surveyors, engineers, and geospatial experts. I am therefore not surprised when you mention that Nigeria hosted one of the best and biggest ever attended working weeks in the 140 years history of the Federation.
In the last 5 years, the President said the federal government has embarked on critical infrastructure development and rehabilitation of projects across Nigeria. He said roads, bridges, rail tracks, airports and affordable housing are being designed and executed in an unprecedented manner.
Our goal is simple. We will develop quality infrastructure that will bring prosperity to millions of Nigerians in both urban and rural areas. To achieve this, we are working with surveyors, engineers, and town planners. I am therefore confident that the 344 new surveyors inducted into the Register of the Surveyors Council of Nigeria will be very busy in the coming years.
President Buhari expressed delight that many states in Nigeria are currently adopting the Geographic Information Services for both urban and rural development. The federal government, he explained, remains on track in using similar technologies towards achieving the desired agricultural revolution. The President, International Federation of Surveyors, Professor Rudolf Steiger, had described his engagement with President Muhammadu Buhari as a great opportunity in view of the Nigerian leader's international reputation of honesty, integrity, and selflessness in service to his country and humanity.
And we thank you for your support, and we hope to have also your support in the future. surveying and geoinformatics is very important for the development of each society, for the betterment. And geographical data is a backbone for this. We in the world, we create data every day, and more than 50% of this data is related to places, to where. And this is where surveyors are delivering a lot.
Professor Stega said the International Federation of Surveyors is proud to be associated with Nigeria, now being revived for a prosperous future by one of the greatest sons of Africa. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In a related development, the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board of Nigeria is growing its numerical strength with the induction of registered professionals pursuant to achieving the mandate of ensuring value for money in civil construction in the country. NTA Fineface reports.
Ibrahim Aminu is a management staff with the Nigerian Television Authority and one of 211 registered quantity surveyors now qualified for induction as professionals. They came in as hopefuls. With this oath, they are now certified and licensed as quantity surveyors, handed the task of ensuring quality in Nigeria's infrastructure development drive.
So it's very essential for the profession and equally the nation at large, because you cannot just be practicing without being a member of a body that is set up by the government to regulate the professions.
The fact that being inducted only makes it much more better, because I'll try my best more to make sure that we work on the lapses we have on the infrastructure.
However, it's not just funfair. Inductees here are required to
take note of emerging technologies, innovations and opportunities while rebranding and repositioning ourselves for enhanced service delivery.
We must continue to upscale our practices, whether we're in the public sector or in the private sector.
Adopting and developing innovative technologies as construction entrepreneurs, opportunities are awaiting the likes of Aminu and his contemporaries as they now walk the path of not just quantity but quality in quantity surveying. In Abuja, NTA Fineface, NTA News.
The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has called for compulsory screening of all passengers coming into Nigeria from China and other countries affected by the coronavirus. This is in reaction to a point of order raised by the Deputy Leader of the Senate, Senator Ajayi Boniface, who drew the attention of the Senate to what he describes as non-screening of passengers in some airports in Nigeria, which he witnessed a few days ago. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, therefore urged the Federal Ministry of Health and other related agencies to quarantine passengers arriving in Nigeria from China and other affected countries upon arrival for 2 weeks. The Senate has considered the bill which seeks to amend the Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act to include tertiary institutions and hospitals, sponsored by Senator Betty Apiafi, and the bill which seeks to prohibit flaring of gas in Nigeria. Both bills passed through second reading. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has initiated a legislation that will allow for provision of additional source of funding aside annual budgetary allocation to the armed forces of Nigeria to enhance procurement of needed logistics. A bill to that effect passed through second reading at Thursday's plenary. The bill, sponsored by the Chairman, House Committee on Defense, Representative Babajimi Benson, makes provision for special financial support, training and modern security equipment to revamp the Nigerian armed forces. House members unanimously supported the bill, which they noted will improve the capacity of security personnel to effectively tackle security challenges in the country. Other bills which passed second reading include a bill to establish a Federal University of Sports in Afuze, Edo State, sponsored by Representative Julius Ihonvere, and a bill for the establishment of the Federal University of Medicine, Bida, Niger State, sponsored by Representative Seidu Abdullahi. The House at plenary passed a resolution to investigate the Federal Ministry of Works and other agencies on allegations of slow pace of work on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the Abuja Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Road and the second Niger Bridge, despite funds released for the projects amounting to more than 150 billion naira by the federal government, as moved by Representative Ifeanyi Moma. Religious leaders in the country have been called upon to avoid sentiment and not be swayed by the antics of Boko Haram and ISWAP, who have been targeting Christians. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, made the call during a media briefing in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed explained that the antics of Boko Haram and ISWAP is the last desperate move by the disillusioned killers to stay relevant despite their continued decimation by Nigeria's gallant troops, hence the need to constantly support them in their operation.
We appeal to Nigerians to support the military as it moves to decapitate the insurgents. Second-guessing the military at this time is like playing into the hands of Boko Haram.
Lai Mohammed recalled how Boko Haram carried out its attacks in the past without discrimination. Churches and mosques, Christians and Muslims were attacked. In the wake of the renewed onslaught by the Nigerian military against Boko Haram and their ISWAP allies, the insurgents have equally changed strategy by targeting Christians and their villages with specific motive of triggering a religious war and throw the country into chaos, knowing how emotive and divisive religion can be when exploited.
The insurgents who delude themselves as Muslims, whereas they are nothing more than bloodthirsty, rapacious killers who subscribe to no religion, have recently started targeting Christians with a view to sowing the seed of confusion and discord between the two great religions. This is not to say that they have stopped attacking Muslims, but they seem to now have a deliberate policy of attacking Christians.
The minister added that the killing of the Adamawa State Camp chairman, the attack on Kwarangulum, a Christian village near Chibok, as well as the killing of Popville the chair, among others, fits into the Boko Haram plot. It is therefore worthy of note that the war against the insurgents is paying off, citing the killing of ISWAP leaders, successful attack against Boko Haram leadership in Alafa, the killing of Boko Haram Chief Judge, among others. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And still on security, Kano State government says it will continue to provide necessary support to the armed forces of Nigeria in combating security challenges in the country. The governor of the state, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, made this pronouncement at the foundation laying ceremony of a military training ground in Falgore, Kano State.
I assure members of the public that Kano State government will continue to provide such services until the military is satisfied that the contribution of Kano State is indeed appropriate in order to provide security not only for Kano State but also for surrounding states.
The setting of the military training center here in Falgore will serve as an avenue to dominate the general area to root out armed bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal elements, which hitherto have occupied this forest since in the 90s.
Nigeria was charged to make adequate use of the base upon completion so as to achieve the intended purpose. The federal government is pursuing a reform in the country's seed value chain with a view to addressing the proliferation of substandard seeds in the country. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Muhammad Sabo Nanunu, stated this while addressing agricultural scientists at the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Kaduna State. Musa Baba Aliu reports.
Agriculturists alongside farmers have agreed that seed remains the key input for improving crop production and productivity. And access to the quality and improved seeds, they say, remains the lifeline of food security. However, Nigeria, though the largest producer of seeds in sub-Saharan Africa, is faced with challenges of proliferation and distribution of fake and substandard seeds. Muhammad Sabana Nono, Minister of Agriculture, engaged scientists with a view to finding ways of addressing the menace of distribution of fake seeds in the country. His concerns, he says, are based on the high demand of food due to population growth, as well as effects of climate change as it affects crop yield.
With this large population, to feed it, it means that you need research, you need agricultural mechanization. You need to look agriculture as a wholesome enterprise.
Chairman committees of agriculture from both Senate and House of Representatives emphasized the need to repeal the existing laws guiding seed extension services in the country.
There is need for us to do some work to bring our indigenous crop, do research on them, and see how best we can improve their potency to meet the demands of this great country.
The report of the National Seed Council of Nigeria shows a 1% increase in the production of quality seeds in the country, thereby decreasing distribution of the fake import. From Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. It's time for a break. Do stay tuned for more reports.
Naija, your love guests.
I do believe in love at first sight.
I just think it's not possible.
You know, as a man, you're moved by what you see.
My love at first sight is a mental connection.
Personally, don't want someone really shorter than I am.
Guys really don't pick up on things like that sometimes, and I'm guys.
My goal here is to find love.
I just like them average, light skin.
My move button is just showing me too much love.
You might be the most beautiful woman in the world, but if your nails are not straight and clean, I ain't doing with you.
Bad breath, bad odors of any kind.
I'm a mumu naturally, so...
I'll be gone. I'll be a mumu for life.
I love attention, maybe food.
I want to try again.
If a woman is like my heaven, like she gives me peace, I'm good.
I was at the point of getting married, or my dad didn't approve of the relationship.
Quit me, my man.
I want someone that's a little bit taller than I am and muscular.
I think you actually have to know a person to a certain degree before you say you're in love with them.
Thanks for staying with the news on NTA International. Now, the High Court of Lokoja has set aside the removal of Simon Achuba as Kogi State Deputy Governor by the State House of Assembly. The judgment delivered by Justice Richard Olorunfemi said allegations of gross misconduct instituted against the Deputy Governor could not be established by the report of the 7-man panel convened by the State House of Assembly. Jacob Sani reports.
In his ruling, Justice John Richard Olufemi of the High Court Lokoja declared that the removal of the former Deputy Governor was a violation of the Constitution. He said the former Deputy Governor was neither indicted nor found wanting in the report tendered by the panel on the allegations against him. The court described the removal and subsequent nomination of Edward Onoja as not in line with due process. Before his impeachment process, the former Deputy Governor was suspended by the State House of Assembly over alleged misconduct. His impeachment was hinged on 3 grounds of criminal indulgence, financial misappropriation, and non-performance, and allegation of utterances in public media, which was described as gross misconduct. Justice John Olorunfemi therefore directed that all his entitlements should be met.
We have listened to the judgment and we'll wait, we'll get a copy, we'll study it and advise our client accordingly. That's our position.
The judgment to us is a victory to democracy and for the spirit of the constitution of our land, which is the ground norm. And we want to thank our Lordship for this well-seasoned judgment.
In Lokoja, Jacob Sani, NTA News.
Now, Africa's largest television network, the Nigerian Television Authority, is realigning content with public aspirations while meeting corporate image and national mandate. The network's program directorate is taking the lead in achieving this new target. Olabode Arewa reports.
It is no understatement that Nigerian Television Authority is currently undergoing transformation to be truly world-class in the delivery of news and programs. This meeting with NTA Director General Malam Yakubu Ibe Mohammed and top management at the headquarters in Abuja affords NTA heads of programs an opportunity to be appraised of the current direction of the NTA.
Making progress, right? But for us to make progress the way we want to advance, we need to engage ourselves consistently, constantly, and with a singularity of purpose. And this is what meetings such as these can they offer us such opportunities. You discuss program ideas, set targets for yourselves.
At the end of this gathering, I hope you will all go back to your various stations and make remarkable difference in our screen and content output on the largest television in Africa.
Because, an assemblage of producers is very, very beneficial to the language channel. What we do in language channel is a production of programs.
In line with the tradition of rewarding outstanding contributing stations to network programming, NTA Benin, Ibadan, Maiduguri, Kaduna, Lagos and Port Harcourt were specially recognized. Bola Ladili, an assistant director of programs, and others like him are confident of the impact of NTA's transformation drive.
All the new program ideas that we have conceptualized will now be brought into fruition with the new equipment that we have.
Recently, an implementation committee was inaugurated to drive the NTA's 2020 corporate targets. The committee has already begun its work. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Thank you, Olabode. With rich potential of human and material resources, Nigeria is becoming an investment destination, with countries seeking to strengthen cooperation for mutual economic and social development. At the sideline of the Human Rights Council of the United Nations in Geneva, some countries in Europe and South America engaged Nigeria in high-level bilateral talks because of this. Usman Aliu reports.
Oil-rich South American Venezuela reached out to Nigeria in her stabilizing process amid sanctions by the United States. The opportunity to hold Nigeria tight is what Venezuelan top government officials, led by the Foreign Affairs Minister, is here to achieve, making Nigeria a big partner in Africa that can support her political economy.
And then also we discussed cooperation between Latin America and Africa. There was a mechanism that used to exist where the AU and a group of South American states had a cooperation mechanism. It's been moribund for a number of years.
And in Europe, the Serbia political issue, particularly regarding the territory of Kosovo, was discussed, and Nigeria advised Serbs to always engage in peaceful resolution. Serbia's Foreign Affairs Minister also seeks further cooperation in education, with offers to Nigeria for entrepreneurship training as well as defense cooperation and agricultural development.
The defense industries is one. They're doing a lot in that area now, and of course we have our security challenges. So we're looking at possible cooperation in that field, and agriculture too. They're very strong, and they have some very, very good, world-renowned agricultural research institutes.
While in Geneva, the Foreign Affairs Minister met with the embassy staff at the Nigeria's High Commission in Geneva. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
For more stories from the foreign scene, here's Joyce Ometu.
Glad to have you join us on this segment of the news. Reports from Guinea says President Alpha Condé has refused to meet a delegation of West African leaders as the country heads towards a referendum that could allow him run for a third term. A delegation of heads of state from the regional bloc, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, was scheduled to visit Guinea on Friday. Guinea has been plunged into political crisis over President Condé's push for constitutional reforms through a referendum that will be held on 1st of March. The opposition has said it will boycott the vote. And an update on coronavirus, now named COVID-19. Reports say the virus is spreading in the Middle East, Europe, and other parts of the world. Brazil has confirmed its first case in Latin America. More deaths have been reported in Iran, Italy, and South Korea. 2 more patients have tested positive for coronavirus in England. Globally, at least 80,000 people have been diagnosed with the illness. Saudi Arabia on Thursday halted travel to the holiest sites in Islam over coronavirus fears just months ahead of the annual Hajj pilgrimage. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has appointed Vice President Mike Pence to coordinate the U.S. government's response to the coronavirus outbreak. Both men told a White House news conference that the risk to the American people remained very low. And that's it from here. Thanks for staying. I am Joyce Ometu.
Thank you, Joyce. On a sad note, President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with the family of former Director General of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIIA, Dr. Roland Azubike Anyanwu, 84, who served the country in many capacities, including Special Advisor to President Shehu Shagari. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President joins professional and political associates of the former presidential aide in mourning the departed, affirming that he played a key role in the reconciliation and reconstruction efforts after the Nigerian Civil War and the country's transition to civil rule in the Second Republic. President Buhari believes the contributions of the former Director General of the NIIA to national development will always be remembered by posterity, especially his return to the country after obtaining his doctorate at the Pennsylvania University to support the reconciliation process after the Civil War. As the family lays his remains to final rest on Friday, February 28, 2020, the President prays that Almighty God will accept Dr. Anyawu's soul and comfort all loved ones. Now to sports. NTA is host broadcaster of the 2020 National Sports Festival. Kene Emabudike reports.
The Nigerian Television Authority and Edo State government have entered into mutual partnership for adequate coverage of the forthcoming 20th National Sports Festival, billed for March 22 to April 1 in Benin City. This arrangement was concluded on Thursday following a meeting of both parties in Abuja, with the Edo State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu rest assuring Nigerians of a memorable outing in Benin City.
Now that the enabling environment for businesses to grow is there, it is now time to partner with private sector to come and drive sport, because government alone cannot drive sports.
All is set for the 12th Biennial Nigerian Police Games in Anambra State, February 29 to March 8, 2020. Daniel Obai reports that over 2,000 athletes from 12 commands will compete in over 20 sports at different venues, including Oka, Otuocha, Oba, Omawulumbauku, and Agulu.
He's actually doing all he can to ensure that the state becomes #1 in sport development and sport activities.
Meanwhile, Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare has re-emphasized the need for the private sector to key into the ministry's adoption campaign. Dare, who spoke while hosting a delegation for Nestle in Abuja, wants hands on deck as the country works towards curating a better future for the youth.
I'm excited about the fact that the youth development component is similar to what we're working on.
And in handball, defender Babes of Abuja bounced back from their defeat to Safety Babes on Wednesday evening to beat Rising Queens 39 to 24 goals on Thursday in the ongoing North Central Handball League in Abuja. In other results, Confluence Stars lost 34 to 38 goals to Benue Buffaloes as the tournament enters day 7 on Friday. With sports update, Kenan Ima Abodike, NTA News.
Sports Update concludes the news on NTA International. Thanks for watching.
Have you been thinking about coming to Nigeria? Then what are you waiting for? Come share in our wealth of vast resources. Come discover treasure. Come to where there's lots of...
They know the dosages. What has happened now is that because the thing has been commercialized, and a lot of people, fraudsters, have come into the practice. So, and they are not giving what people really need. But the point is that the NAFDAC has come and has